So, welcome everyone. Week 7. I thought I got it wrong when I was, can't be week 7, that's crazy. But it's week 7 already. So, day 1 of week 7. And I'm looking forward to this week. I feel like, for me, last week was a really funny week with Sarah, being ill and everything. And I feel like I'm kind of back into my flow again this week. Hi, Megan. And hi, Babs. So I just wanted to kind of share all of that with you as well, because I was reading a message from Becky this morning. And I know Becky's feeling quite out of sorts. She's really tied with not being able to exercise that much. And I know it can be a challenge, but it's just, life just it comes in cycles, doesn't it? Sometimes things are really, really hard. And sometimes things are really, really good. And you just... It all comes and goes, so we just have to ride the wave that we're on at the time, and it's not always easy to see that, is it? And the last couple of weeks weren't really that challenging for me. It's just a little bit more housebound, and Sarah was a bit poorly. It could have been much worse, but it's just a reminder, isn't it, that things aren't always rosy, and just to do what we can do when things aren't as good as they will be again. So we're going to do an arm workout today. I'm really looking forward to this. So I've got lots of fun Franklin method banding exercises to do with you, and actually just some regular Pilates exercises. And I want just to create a video that you can watch a few times. So I know that if you do what I've got planned for you today, maybe a couple of times a week, it would really, really make a difference to the tone of your arms and the strength of your arms. And what I'm really interested in is creating tone, but in a really efficient, balanced way. So we're not just like super toned, but super tense. We can't breathe properly, and we have, not a great posture. Okay. Oh, goody. Oh, so body feels like it's already changed. I feel like it's that. I feel like we all change quite quickly. It just has to be that consistency. Yeah, that's fab, goody. Okay, so we're going to start standing. You can pop all of your equipment down because we're going to take 30 seconds just to tune in and to notice how we are feeling today, what's going on. So first of all, just take a few moments to find a comfortable standing position and just check in. So just that quiet of, hello self, how am I? How are you? And it doesn't even need to be an answer as such, but it's just that kind of quiet listening. You go out into nature and you perhaps don't get kind of answers if you talk to things, but it's just that quiet communication, that underlying communication. And just for your body to know that it's totally safe for it to communicate with you, and also that you will listen to it. And hopefully you're starting to do this more and more in your everyday life. So you could be in a very kind of busy scenario. It doesn't have to be where it's totally quiet around you, but you can still be just tuning in. Okay, how does this feel? How am I feeling? Just that moment-to-moment communication, friendship, dialogue with your world, with your inner world. And then we're going to take our focus to our arms. So what comes to mind when you think of your arms? It would just be interesting. You don't even need to type it in. But when you think of arms, what do you think? Because it would be interesting to kind of notice your own self-talk around your arms. Do you think strong? Do you think they enable me to do, I'm just thinking of Isi as a surfer, they enable me to travel, to paddle? Or do you think otherwise? Is there any negative self-talk about your arms? So just take a moment to notice. And then notice where your arms are. So obviously they are on the sides of our body. Actually, often we stand as if they're kind of connected a bit more to the front of our bodies. So can you imagine the shoulder girdle tool? We've got these two lovely collarbones across the whole of the front of the chest. And then we've got the shoulder blades across the back here. And then the arms just hang off both of them. So the arms kind of hang off of the scapula, the shoulder blades, which is hung from your collarbones. So they really hang on the side of the body. So just take a moment with that image. So your arms ideally should hang from the side of your body, not from the front of the body, not from the back of the body. And if you stand with that image, how does it change how you feel? Notice what it might do to your posture. Notice how it perhaps opens your heart a little bit. You feel a little bit more present, a little bit more here I am. Notice what it does to your breath. So we're going to bear this in mind as we're moving today. Our arms attached to our body on the sides of the body. So if you have a long Franklin band or a long Dyna band, you're going to grab it. And I'm just going to use, I guess, about this much of it. I'm making that clear. So I'm going to stand on it with both feet. And basically, I just want you to feel that there's a little bit of tension on the band. So if you're standing in the center of it or one end of it, doesn't really matter, but just make sure that there's a bit of tension on the band. So it already feels like your shoulders are being pulled down slightly. Check, are your arms still on the side of your body? We're going to start off with a really basic bicep curl. So we're bending at elbows and wrists stay relatively straight. It's very tempting to break the angle of the wrist, but try not to. So we're aware of the integrity of all of the bones and the joints. And just check in, is that enough tension on your band? Is it too much or is it just right? I think too much would be if you're starting to get tense in the neck and shoulders. Just about right is okay, yeah, I can start to feel that that's working a little bit. I feel my biceps kicking in. But I'm able to keep my arms on the side of my body. I'm able to keep my collarbones open. I'm able to breathe. I still feel organized. Okay, now next one, we just come up to a 90-degree angle with the arms. They're just going to come up to here. So we're now working in a different range. So just coming up to here. If anybody doesn't have a band, you could do this with arm weights instead. Okay. Now I'd like you to take your focus to your biceps. So the biceps are these muscles here at the front of the arms. So if you keep going just up to 90 and back down again. So you keep moving. And can you see what happens to my bicep? Can you see? It kind of, can you see it gets a little bit bulkier and then it gets longer and leaner. It gets a little bit kind of shorter and fatter and longer and leaner. So can you imagine that that is happening to your bicep? It's getting long and lean. And then as you bend your elbow, it's like the muscle fibers just interdigitate. So they slide together and then they slide apart. Let's do 5 more. Muscle fibers slide together as you bend your arm. They slide apart as you lengthen. So the muscle fibers are just in a smaller surface area. That's why it looks bulkier. It's not that it's getting tighter. They're just sliding together and sliding apart, which is a really lovely image for muscles working. Okay, last little bicep exercise. We're coming up to 90 degrees. And then we've got 20 little pulses. So 20 pulses with your arms here. And your muscles are not getting tighter. They're not getting shorter. They're not getting bulkier. The muscle fibers are just sliding together and apart, together and apart. And when you've done about 20, we'll let the arms come down and just take a moment to rest. Let's turn head to right. Come back to the center, turn it to left. Back to the center, look down at the floor. And then look up at the ceiling. Okay, now bending both knees, flexing forwards from your hip joints. So I'll show you from the side. So bending the knees, flexing forwards from the hip joints. And now come back to that 90-degree angle that you had with your arms. Now we straighten the arms behind us and then lift the arms, lower them and then bend them. So straighten and lift, lower and bend. Straighten and lift, lower and bend. So now this is working the opposing muscles to the biceps, the triceps, which live at the back of the arms. And actually on a lot of us, they tend to be relatively weak, the triceps. Not on everyone. But as they get stronger, they really help to keep the arms back on the sides of the body. They really help to keep the chest open. And funnily enough, as you strengthen your triceps, it really helps to strengthen the whole of the arm. It helps to strengthen your wrist. So if you're somebody that has problems with your wrists, strengthening your biceps can really help that. If you can't feel anything, perhaps your band could be a bit tighter, or maybe you could lift your arms a little bit higher. We've got 4 more of these. So the muscle fibers are sliding together at the back of the arm, sliding apart as you bend the elbow. Sliding together as you straighten, sliding apart. Okay, now next one, we keep the arms lifted. Now try to squeeze your hands together and then apart. Squeeze your arms together and then apart. 8 times, together and apart. So elbows are straight, arms are lifted, and we're trying to squeeze the hands together and then apart. Mine aren't moving very much, so don't worry if yours aren't either. But I'm sure you can feel that lovely activity at the backs of the arms, across the shoulder blades. And then when you think you've done about 8, we're going to come all the way up to standing. Take a moment to allow everything to kind of relax. So can you imagine that if there is any feeling of tension, then it can just dissolve. You can notice it, and then it can dissolve. Now we make the band a little bit more slack for this next one. Not a lot, but just a little bit more slack. And we've done this, I think, a lot of us. Arms come out to the side, and then they lower back down again. Arms lift out to the side, and then they lower. Now, it's so tempting for the neck to kick in with this. See if we can find an image that can help the neck to stay a bit more relaxed. So jump into your imagery toolbox. And what can you land on today that could help this to feel a little bit easier? Could be anything. It could almost be like your arms are doing a jump for joy. Can you find that feeling of joy in your heart and translate that to your arms? That seemed to work for me today. Like, yes, something fantastic has happened. Yes. Or it could be more anatomical. You could think shoulder blades dropping down your back as the arms go up. I've now got an image of a corkscrew. You know how the arms go up and then the body goes down. You could almost have that image. Let's try 6 more. Or you could just think, shoulders relax. Shoulders relax. Or I'm enjoying this. I'm getting more toned. My arms are loving it. Last couple. Well done, everyone. Oh, fab. Okay, now we step off of the band and take it in front of us to about shoulder height and about shoulder width apart. And it's not tight, the band. It's kind of like that, with my arms about shoulder width apart. But then I'm going to pull my arms out to the side, and then I close, holding on in between thumb and forefinger. So I'm pulling out to the side, and then close. So I'm trying 8 of these. Open and close. It's another one, because the arms are lifted, it's really tempting for all of this to kick in, but is there something that you could think of to help with that. And if not, just take the arms a bit lower. That might make it a little easier. But this one is great. It really helps to tone the sides of the arms and the back of the arms. It really helps to open the chest. So we'll try 8 of these. Have you ever stood underneath a waterfall? Feels quite humid here today, so it'd be really nice to be standing under a lovely cool waterfall. And just washing any tension away. When you've done 8, we're then going to hold out and pulse for 20. And can you make your image more real than neck and shoulder tension? So you're really training your ability to focus on what you decide to focus on. That's a tough one. Well done, everyone. Fantastic, really good. Now the hands stay about this width apart unless you need to take them wider. The arms go up and overhead, and then now the arms go behind us and ideally all the way down past your bottom, and then back up and then in front. So this is a bit more of a stretch, this one. Arms come up and then arms go all the way back. Arms come up and arms come forwards. If it's a bit too strong, take the arms a bit wider on the band. Up and back and up and forward. And I want you to keep going. There are muscles that live across the front of the chest called the pecs, and these can be really quite strong and tight, and they bring our shoulders forwards, especially if we have to sit at computers for a long period of time. It can also be like an emotional holding. So this exercise really opens the pecs. So can you imagine these muscle fibers are all sliding apart as you take your arms back? We'll do another 4. So we've got the pecs sliding apart and then just sliding a little bit back together as the arms lower. But particularly as they go back, they're sliding apart. Lots of space for your heart, space for the ribs, space for the chest. This lovely opening across the front of your chest. The muscle fibers sliding apart and sliding on the ribs. Last one. Okay. Now, if you have this loop, you're going to put the loop, or your foot into the loop, I should say. This will be familiar. And then we take the other end of the band and we just stand on it with the other foot. I know you can't see my feet, but I want you to be able to see my arms instead. So I've got my feet really, really wide, like in a nice wide second position. And then I'm holding one in between thumb and forefingers. And we're just going to start with a few little squats here. So a few nice easy squats. We can imagine feet getting wider as we bend. We can imagine sit bones getting wider, pelvic floor getting wider. We can imagine spinal curves getting deeper and then longer. There's multi-dimensional imagery. Isn't that fun that you can just make such a simple exercise really creative just by changing what you're focusing on? There's all these amazing mechanical things that are happening inside your body when you're just doing this tiny little squat. Now we coordinate arms with legs. So as your legs straighten, so do your arms. They get there at the same time. They bend at the same time, and they get there at the same time. So is that possible? Can you coordinate that? I feel like my legs are a bit faster than my arms. I need to speed my arms up. Yeah, that looks good. And then we're going to add a twist and down, and twist and down, and twist and down, twist and down. 4 and 3 and 2. Into our triceps. So now we stretch the arms overhead, keep the legs straight, and bend the arms 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then recover. We're going to try 6 on the next one. So let's push up and try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and recover. Let's try 8. So we push up and 1. Have you got equal weight through both feet? 3. Are you pushing up equally with both arms? 5, 6, 7, 8, and recover. We're going to try 6 again. Here we go. Up and 1, 2, 3. Beautifully strong arms. 5, 6. Was that 6? 5. And then the last one, we're just going to do 4 to finish. Here we go. And up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fab. Step out of the band. Well done. Can you start to feel the arms? Feels nice. I don't think actually anything has toned my arms as much as doing all of the Franklin banding. I feel like when I do consistent Franklin banding, it really defines my arms. So I'm definitely up for doing more with you all. So we've got the band. And you're going to step with your right foot on both ends of the band. I've not actually totally stepped on the end. I've stepped a few inches in. Basically, I'm now going to step through that loop with my left foot and pop the band over the shoulder. And the band needs to have a little bit of tension. So as long as you've got some tension, it doesn't really matter how far out or in you stand. You just want to have a sense that the band is pulling the shoulder down a little bit. And it looks a bit like a Miss World sash. So my right foot is standing on the 2 ends of the band. I've stepped through the loop and I've got it over my shoulder. And I'm now noticing that my shoulder is gently being pulled down by the band. Now let's take the shoulder up, 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 up towards the ear, and then let it glide down, 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 down. So it's coming up, and it's coming down. And you could just think shoulder up and down, like one dimension of your movement. But there are many other things that you could focus on. So one being maybe the trapezius. Could you focus on that sliding together? So the fibers of the trapezius are interdigitating and sliding together as you lift. And then they're allowed to fully slide apart as you lower, lower, lower. It's almost like giving them permission to fully relax. So if you're somebody that has your shoulders lifted a lot, can you give your shoulders permission to fully drop? And then come up. If you feel like you wear the weight of the world on your shoulders, can it slip off? And the weight of the world just slip off. Okay, now bringing this into a circle. We're just going to circle the shoulder a few times in each direction. My band nearly slipped off with the weight of the world. Just keep it on there. Keep my hand on there. So a few circles one way and then a few in reverse. And I've now just got this image of my muscle fibers just really being fully expressive. So I'm making this circle as big as I possibly can without losing the band. Let shoulders stay dropped. Let your head drop away from the shoulder. So if it's on your left shoulder, the head needs to drop to the right. Turn the head, tuck the chin in. And then we'll shake the head a little bit. And then nod the head a little bit. And then shake. And then nod. Last time, little shake, little nod. Slowly bring your head all the way up. Remove the band and just give your nervous system a moment to notice the change. because this is where the magic happens. This is where it lasts. Notice the reality of your left shoulder compared to your right shoulder. Notice the reality of your left foot compared to right, or your left lung compared to the right, left brain compared to right. And even if you were to now touch your left upper traps with one hand, compared to touching the right upper traps, I wonder if any of you notice that there's a little bit of a difference in the feeling of them. Feels like my upper traps are less, I'm often aware of my upper traps, and I'm much less aware of them, as in they just feel like they're relaxed. They feel like they're fluid on my left side. And it's like my right side is asking, can we have some attention, please? So let's do the other side. We pick up the band, stand on the two ends. Is the connection any better, Karen? Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so standing on the two ends. If by any chance you didn't notice much of a difference between the two sides, it may be that you didn't have enough feedback from the band, so the band might need to be a little bit tighter. So if you didn't really notice much of a change, make the band a little bit tighter this time. Okay, and then first of all, just standing, your arms hanging from the sides of your body. Beautiful, long, open collarbones, upright lungs, breathing in every direction. Heart is in the center. Remember, your heart hangs from your sternum and from the back of the neck, so it's just kind of dangling in the center. And then we'll slowly take the shoulder up, 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 and then down, 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 down. So any tension, any stress, any weight that you feel that you carry in your shoulder, just let it slip off. Really like that image. So is there something that you can imagine that's kind of soft and slippery, so the weight of the world can just slip off of your shoulders? And then we'll do a similar thing with these lovely shoulder rolls. So if your shoulders are always lifted, you can imagine that your shoulders are probably frustrated that they don't get to fully express themselves in your day-to-day life. So imagine that now is the chance for your shoulder to really move in this full range and love it. We had a birthday party in our garden yesterday. We had all these 16 two-year-olds running around the garden. So you can just imagine that for your shoulder. It's like, yes, I've got all of this space. I can run here, I can run there, I can do whatever I like. And then in reverse. So can you just imagine a playful, giggly shoulder, elated that it can run around and do what it likes. And last one. If anyone else is losing their band, you can just kind of pop your fingers on it to keep it there. Then we'll drop the head away from the shoulder, turn the head and tuck the chin in. Shake the head a little bit. So this is small, and then nod the head a little bit. And really, you don't ever want to overstretch. It's not great for your proprioception, for the feedback in your body, if you overstretch. So you just want to give it a little bit of a nudge in that direction of lengthening. But your body almost gets a little bit scared if it is overstretched, because it doesn't feel very safe for the body. So it can actually often get tighter if you push it too much. Okay, and then we'll bring the head up, get rid of the band, and just take a moment to notice yourself. Let's really spend a few moments here, because for me this feels lovely, it feels wonderful. So I want to let you bask in this at least for a full minute. Notice that beautiful length in your neck and that droppedness of your shoulders. And how you don't need to think shoulders back. They're just naturally hanging on the sides of your body. And it's funny, I've almost got a sense, I think the sun has come out, but I've got a sense that there's more light able to come into me because my shoulders are more open, my chest and my heart are more open. And I really feel like when we're less tense and less busy and congested in the neck and shoulder area, that we can be much more open to insights. Does anybody else get that sense? Just kind of much more open, much more intuitive, much more here, present. Feels really lovely. So I would love to hear in the chat box if you can just really maintain this feeling, and see if you can just communicate this feeling via the chat box would be wonderful. Yeah, feels, for me, just feels really, really open, really light. Feels like this is how I want to experience my life in this state right now. Something that I often do, if ever I've got something that is a little bit of a challenge, so if there's, I don't know, someone that I really want to work with and I'm really nervous about having that conversation with them. I met quite a famous sports person a few months ago, and I wasn't as nervous as I thought I would be. But we had a 3-hour meeting, and before I met him, I went into the bathroom of the restaurant that I was in. I was just like doing my tapping and my neck and shoulder sponging, and it is amazing how it's like just really brings you back into you, and it's like none of the other crap really matters because we're all just the same. And I feel like when we're in this place, there's nothing more beautiful than us. We don't have to try to be anyone else. You can just express yourself so freely. So we've got open warmth brought into the muscle fibers too. Yeah, that's nice. I feel that warmth as well. That's lovely. Feels effortless to keep good posture. Shoulders naturally dropped and relax. So good after surfing. Yeah, perfect, isn't it, e-ski after surfing? Yeah, so lovely. And I love that word, that effortless, can just be me, and it can be effortless. You're just like nature is, just like I'm effortlessly growing these beautiful flowers. Well, that was wonderful, thank you. I've been at my desk all day. This was just what I needed, and my stiff neck has disappeared. That's so fab. Gentleness too, yeah. So we've had a nice, powerful workout, but it hasn't been kind of exhausting, which feels nice. Open and easy neck and shoulders. Didn't realise how much I needed this. But lovely to have you live, Lucy. Really nice to see you. Oh, feel lively and light now. Yeah, I think we just need to remind each other, don't we? Like those moments, and just Bex feels like she's really in my awareness right now because I know she's frustrated with things that are going on. But it just feels like just do a little bit of neck and shoulder sponging. All your body needs is just a little bit of time and communication, just to really allow all of that magic to flow through it. Yeah, it doesn't take much. I mean, half an hour is such a short amount of time. So thank you all so much for joining today. That was lovely. Have a fantastic day. Oh, Babs, love this, Rachel. I'll be going through this again, but today going to bed now. Your neck looks as though it belongs to an alien. Very long. I'm going to take that as a compliment from you. Thank you, Babs. Eric Franklin is in London this Wednesday, and I've been asked to assist him. But that means that I'm going to be in London on Wednesday. So our session is on Wednesday. So I was just going to ask you, could we perhaps do this on Friday? Could we meet on Friday instead? I'll send you all an email and just see what the overall consensus is. Otherwise, we do next Wednesday instead, which is our week off, and that's all right with Goody. Okay, I'm going to send you all an email and just check that perhaps we could do Friday instead. Okay, great, Karen. All right, everyone, have a fab day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.